I wanted to ask you about sort of how you see the evolving opportunity around targeting, using data in a post-cookie world.
Yeah, great. I think we approach it one of two ways, right? There's the actual how you're going to do it, and then there's the, well, why are we in a post-cookie world? And it's, I think, become very obvious even to consumers why cookies weren't always the greatest thing. They were sloppy. You had to drop hundreds of them. Everyone had their own cookie. It was slowing down page times. They don't even work in a mobile app environment, which is now 60% of our inventory. So now it's almost killed itself because of the fact that the mobile device has become so powerful. So a solution was paramount. But this time around, let's do it in a way that's not as kludgy. Let's make sure the consumer understands what the value proposition is. We'll allow you to, if you let us know a little bit about you, we'll give you more targeted ads and you get free content. Whatever the trade-off is, they know there's a trade-off. And there's a real shot now for the open web, which is our bread and butter at Rubicon Project, to start to be able to look to buyers like a platform if we do it right from a identifier. If we all figure out what the right identifier or identifiers are, then it can make buying so much more simple, attribution so much more simple, and it will feel like one of the platforms that folks famously say are taking 70 cents of every dollar that goes into the programmatic ecosystem. So I think it's a real interesting kind of springboard for publishers once they get around solving it. It's filled with fear and trepidation right now because what is next? But a lot of folks are working on some pretty smart ideas. And I sense that when we get through this as an industry, we'll be in far better position than we are today.
So what are the pieces of identity that are important, you think, that need to be developed, and where might that be going?
Yeah, I think this is one instance where some of the world's going to have to revert back to behavioral targeting, contextual. That has kind of been thrown out the window as a value proposition, and there's a lot of top-notch publishers that have great context. And so that's going to have to be revalued into the system and pulled back in. A lot of it does rest. Third party can only do so much as it relates to repopulating the information they have because the cookies are being tossed out. So I think publishers now will play a stronger role with first party cookies. The question for a publisher is, how many of those do I drop and who do I share them with? And that becomes part of the solution as well. We'd like to think that Prebid, as this open source community, is really well positioned to also play this data guardian to make sure that the right information is only going to the right folks. But it's fascinating, and there's I know a handful have been announced, and we're in deep conversations with a handful of other folks about what their solution is going to be. And again, as I said, a pretty exciting time frame, I think, for the whole industry, particularly publishers on the open web.
And a lot of us will be together in Cannes in just a few weeks. What do you hope the conversation is there?
Let's hope it's not all about GDPR this time around. We lived that last summer. Let's hope that Google's made all their announcements, so we're not speculating anymore. And let's hope it gets down to, not about the theoretical of what might become, about the practical. The thing I love about Cannes is you can vacillate between these really super high-level meetings and then these meetings where you actually get business done and you write orders. And I think it's kind of swung when there were existential crises to more high-level, nice to get to know the person, but you're not really moving the agenda forward to, I hope that this Cannes is a lot more about business as usual and moving the agenda forward.